As the DG of the Basic Education Department says, this is a strong signal of recovery, renewal, and also going beyond resilient. But others are saying that the education system is still not stable. It hasn't reached a point of predictability. And Mahlako Komane, SABC News reporter, joins us now from Felons in Johannesburg, and we'll probably get a sense from her of just how stabilized things are. Mahlako.
Yes, good evening and thank you very much, Bongiwe. We are, we've just heard, that technical briefing that was concluded just a few minutes ago by the DG of Basic Education, speaking about, the dynamics, the ingredients that went into that class of 2022 matric examinations. We saw there, one of the things that he did speak about, he spoke about the saying that there were less learners last year that were absent as compared to the 2021 cohort. But he also spoke quite interestingly, as you could see in one of his slides, where we saw that more learners had attained that bachelor pass. This obviously enabling them to go and try and pursue tertiary studies. But also saying last year, if you remember correctly, last year, there was that announcement that was made about 240,000 learners in the class of 2021 attaining bachelor passes. This year we see it has there has been that increase. It's about a 2% increase. We're seeing almost an extra 20 or so thousand more learners that are achieving that bachelor pass. What does this mean in terms of what we can expect later on today when the minister addresses the nation, or makes that announcement to tell us what is it in the overall achievement for the class of 2022? But I am joined here, by the Shadow Minister for Education, the DA's Shadow Minister for Education. I also know that he sits in the Portfolio Committee for Basic Education in Parliament, Baxolile Nodada. Let's just perhaps speak to him and ask him about, we saw that, Baxolile, let's just go into it perhaps. We saw that increase. It obviously is an indication, as we were having that conversation earlier on, about what to expect.
No, thank you so much, Matlas, for having me, first of all. First of all, we must congratulate the class of 2022. I think it's important. They've been through a very tough couple of years, particularly this class, enduring COVID-19, some, floods, but, most importantly, the recent load shedding, as we've seen. And the statistics that you referred to about the increase in the bachelor's pass show that there might be a potential increase later on today. But it's very important also to dive into the detail as to what is the quality of that bachelor's pass, because we know that it's one of the pathways that you do have when you get the national senior certificate, that, there's a bachelor's pass rate, there's diploma, there's a national senior certificate, and actually just the higher certificate that you get there. So it's important that we check as to when the results are announced later on and that increase is indicated, as to what is the quality of that, and so that we are able to track those learners, whether they're able to further their education, either in university or other institutions of higher learning, and whether they will be able to make a future out of them getting these type of results in that particular bachelor's pass.
When we speak about the quality of the bachelor's passes, we also measure it. You speak about further or tertiary education that learners are are hoping to pursue after this. We are going to see those long lines following, students getting their statements of results at schools tomorrow. Are we saying that is there, would you say, let me put it to you, would you say that there is a problem in terms of that quality? Because even universities have their own requirements as to, and most times than not, they're much higher than what is basic in terms of the achievement of a bachelor's pass when you are sitting for that national senior certificate.
That's quite true. Look, I've been recently just to a conference with about 17 countries. And, the Pearls professor that actually does, Pearls TIMS, which measures some of our learners in South Africa, has indicated that, South Africa can have a pass rate that is high, but we lack in depth. of knowledge and depth of understanding. And when you look at those bachelor passes for those learners, fortunate enough, I've been into the higher education space myself. You'd get, for example, a 27 points, and you'll be told you get a bachelor's pass, but you won't gain access to any institution or any university because they've got their own requirements in those universities that call them APS points. So it's very important for us to dive into the detail about the bachelor's pass, that you're not just getting it when you're not going to be able to actually use it to access further education and later on get a qualification that can change the circumstance of your birth, or for you to access opportunities to change your life to be prosperous as well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Baxolile Nodada. He is the Shadow Minister for the DA, the Education Shadow Minister for the DA, as well as a member of the Portfolio Committee on Basic Education in Parliament, speaking about that, we delved into the issue of that quality of the pass. We've seen from the technical briefing by the DG that there has been an increase in the number of learners that are getting, with those bachelor passes. In actual fact, of the 900,000 plus candidates that said about 270,000 in 2022, from what we've seen in the slides, would have qualified for the bachelor passes. But as Mr. Nodada says, speaks about where are you able to use that certificate when you want to go and access whatever tertiary education that you may so choose to do. Is it perhaps time for the pass rate to perhaps match that which is required at a tertiary level in terms of trying to get entry there?